Welcome to Keeper Oklahoma High School Girls Basketball Between the Lines with my man, Coach V, myself, Tony Johnson. What's up, Coach?
What's going on today?
Nothing much, man. We're about, 2 days away from Gobble?
Yep, trying to get some turkey and some fixings.
Hey, some turkey, some dressing, some yams,
Mm.
some banana pudding.
Now you like your yams with brown sugar and marshmallows?
Brown sugar, marshmallows. Man, I'm ready, guys.
I said that to one of the kids the other day, and they thought I was crazy.
Coach, man, it's the time that you can eat and get in a coma and wake up and eat again.
Well, I'm just saying, is that old school sweet potatoes? That's
Coach,
sweet
we're
potatoes.
talking about the young generation, man.
That was
They're soft. If you touch it,
that was like candy. It was like a dessert on the side.
That's it, man. Hey, my mama used to throw down. I like the cranberry sauce on the top. My wife went to the store the other day, and that's exactly what she said. She said, babe, I'm the only one that eats the cranberry.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have 2 turkeys, 2 hams. You got all the family members coming over, man.
Nice.
My daughter's driving in. Her and Cam's driving in from Dallas. So
Okay.
Everybody's going to be here. So I love when all my babies at the house. The only person I miss is my little granddaughter. She's in Tennessee, visit her dad's family, which, it happens. But, hey, this is all about family. I love family time. I love this time of year, Christmas, putting the lights up. I don't do that so much now, Coach, because my kids are all grown, except for Zoe.
I don't do it so much because, I fall down. It might take 2 weeks. They might never come down. I might just say, the heck with it, leave them up.
Just leave them up all year round. I yell at my neighbors when they do that, Coach. Leave them up all year round,
They probably got hurt.
Yeah, they probably did. My neighbor across the street, he goes all out. He's kind of like the Griswold.
Oh,
man.
nice.
He wants to have the nicest yard, the nicest trees, the nicest lights. But, hey, I might come back and get him. So I might come back.
Or like that one with, what was it, Danny DeVito, or not Danny DeVito, where he tried to outdo each neighbor?
Yeah, that's it. When my yard is kind of green, he goes greener. I think he puts some this special spray on it. So, because I be green and he'll go a little greener. But hey, it's okay. But folks, like I said, we're gonna have a special guest today. We're gonna just have a Midwest City's head coach.
Oh, nice.
Coach Megan Knight.
Yep, they're going to have a good team.
Really good team. I think she might have scrimmaged today, so we'll talk about what she got coming because it opens up, next week?
A lot of people open up, next Tuesday.
Well, not you, because you open up on Saturday.
Yeah, we played on Saturday. We opened up on Saturday, started a little early. The 2 games, trying to get all those games in.
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to play a lot of Saturday, so we went and threw one in right before Thanksgiving, which is fine. I was ready to do scrimmage. I saw Coach today, Coach Combs at Tuttle, and she said, man, I'm ready to play.
Coach, you talk about playing on Saturday. I like the Saturday games. I like the small gym. I saw you today use that, Lindsay?
I was at Lindsay's Super Scrimmage today.
That was a nice gym.
Brand new, probably about 5 years old, and it's a nice gym.
And it's made for basketball.
Yes. Yeah.
You could just kind of tell, I was over at Washington Gym a while back. The girls went over there and scrimmage. So it's made for basketball.
I haven't been in it.
I love those gyms. They're kind of like Shawnee's new gym. It's made for basketball, It's made to be loud and rowdy and all that. But, so tell me a little about the scrimmage today. Who all went today?
Oh, I saw Jones, McLeod, Tuttle. I'm trying to think who else I saw. Mount St. Mary's, it was a good mix of some 4A's down and try to figure out where everybody kind of looks like. Jones' new coach. We talked to Coach. We had her on the show,
Yes, sir.
and I know she's trying to figure it out. And you could tell that they're scrimmaging and fouls and stuff don't really count. So when you get in that game, then that management kind of kicks in a little bit. I saw Coach Combs, and I went and saw people that we're going to play.
Yes,
we're going to play Jones. We're going to play Mount St. Mary's in 2 weeks, and saw them. And they got a really good shooter in Kylie Ross, who's signed with East Central University.
Okay.
And, so it was good basketball.
So, you start talking about a young lady that signed, is she a junior, she a senior?
She's a senior. She's 25.
Senior. So most of these girls that start getting these signing, when does it happen? Their junior year? They senior
year? You sign, you commit anytime you want, but you're going to sign November of your senior year, and then I think back in April or March you'll sign again. I think we do it in April, signing day.
Think, when you get a lot of these girls that start, getting recruited and, these college coaches, they probably biting their nails, just kind of like with the transfer portal going on right now. So say if a young lady commits to say she's going to Oklahoma, but is that still that Oklahoma State, Tulsa, and Oral Roberts and some of the other schools, could they still go after her, even though she says she's committed to going to OU?
They can go after her. I don't know how much they do at in-state, but the out-of-state school will come in and sweep in. It might be an NIL deal or something like that. That's that's something we're going to talk about one show is that NIL concept of what's happening. there's some negotiating going on there, and you almost need an agent. You really do need an agent at that level. If you're at that level where that money's being talked of six figures, I mean not six figures, but $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 or something like that.
That's still big money for a high school. I mean, for a college student. Though,
on top of your scholarship that you already get.
Yeah.
So, but there's some, that's a whole new deal that people are not aware of, and I talked to one coach about it one time, and it's something that if you're a kid at that level, they need to be aware of. And there's some things that happen at the Division II level too. I mean, it ain't that type of money, but it does filter down all the way down a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to say you're going to get $100,000 or anything like that, but you could get some help on some things that you might need, books or just food, meal money or something like that.
Hey, that meal money goes a long way. Coach, I ain't got that many questions. I got a couple of things I want to ask you. I know you had a big game on Saturday. You got a big, 40, 50-point win?
Yeah, we won. I'm not going to say.
Well, I can say it. You
can
know,
say that.
I can say it. I mean, Coach, you keeping it real humble. I like that. But, you got a big win, and got a chance to get the girls out. Mm-hmm. One of the things I got to say, I talked to a parent today, and I really, really like what you did. And I didn't get a chance to put it up, but, you had all the girls and you had their stats.
I did. I try to do top performers. I don't really. Again, I don't get into that player of the game too much.
Yes, sir.
But a top performer, I mean, a player of a game, if you go by points and stuff, I mean, somebody had to pass the ball. Mm-hmm. Somebody had to get that rebound. And so, I try to award the little things. It might be points. You may score 0 and have 10 rebounds and, 10 assists, and you're going to be on a top performer list. But I had 6 young ladies that reached 9 points or above.
Yes, sir.
And then they also had 4 or 5 assists, 4 or 5 rebounds, and maybe some steals. And so I try to do that, at least with about 3 or 4 kids that are top performers. So that way it kind of shares the love a little bit.
I really like that because, it like you said, it's one, you're getting their faces out there with their numbers. And so a college coach coming across Twitter and he looks and like, oh, Price.
Yeah, right.
15 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, 5, this and that, 5 assists. So, this lady might just be known for her scoring, but now it shows that, hey, she's filling up the stat sheet, like you like to say. Right. And I think that goes big sometimes. I think sometimes, like I said, we all get caught up in how many points my baby had, but it's all about filling that stat sheet because you got to realize if your kid's getting recruited, your young ladies get recruited, they're recruiting other young ladies to come and score too.
Right. I'm old school, so Robin. I'm a Robin fan. Growing up watching the Chicago Bulls and New York Knicks and that series and all that stuff. When Robin played with Detroit Pistons, the bad boys. When you get 25 rebounds and you have no points, you get 25 rebounds and 5 blocks and 5 charges. I mean, that's game changing.
That's game changers.
And so. I try to do that, so it's just not about points. I'm not out there trying to get mine. I mean, if you want to come ask me how many rebounds you average, I'm okay with it because you know what? I want you to get more. If you tell me your goal is to get 10 rebounds a game, go get 20. I ain't going to hurt my feelings, Now, if you tell me how many points I got, then I got to break down how many points did you give up? How many turnovers did you have? Let's do a plus-minus system. System. They used to do that with Westbrook when he was at Thunder. You always saw that plus-minus,
Plus-minus.
He had triple-double, and then you're like, hey, that's a good game. And they start talking about plus and minuses. You're like, well, I'm kind of confused here.
Yeah. My little stat thing that I use, it talks about the plus-minus, the kids are trying to figure out what it is. And I said, the higher it is, the better it is. You know what I mean? So you want to have that. But, Coach, like I said, you had a big-time win. But what is the things that you think that, coming off that big win, I know there's a lot of great things you did, but what are some things you think that you can do to prove to get yourself better for the next game?
Well, we're going to talk on defense. I think when you're doing that, defenses, whether it's rotation, we're still trying to figure out to get off our man and get off and up the lane and deny and not actually be on her. So we're playing, denying a passing lane, and just like you would in practice, backdoor cuts, or we dropping our head, or we spinning around like a top and getting beat back door, and things like that. And we moved the ball well. It was a zone, and we went inside out. And was my player moving? Was she relocating, changing the angle? So that was some of the good stuff. And some things we work on is just again talking on D, spacing. We always work on spacing, and you can always work on defense, shell, jump to the ball, backside help, and stuff like that.
So how do you feel about the team's, morale and chemistry? I know the first game together, some of these girls, you got a couple of freshmen that's coming up from the 8th grade now getting to play the high school level. varsity playing time. So how did you feel about the chemistry? I mean, obviously it was good because you
Yeah.
scored a lot of points.
I thought it was good. I mean, we moved well. Everybody was, we got to a point in the game where we brought in some bench players, that may not get to play much.
Yes, sir.
And we didn't have a JV game, so that basically some JV players, and it was good because they cheer for our varsity, they cheer for the girls that are in, and so just because you're out maybe for the rest of the game, don't sit down and giggle and laugh. I mean, it's time to cheer each other on, and that's what I like about it is when a young lady scores a varsity point, and it might be her first points ever in varsity.
Yeah.
I mean, we're erupting over. We're not trying to be disrespectful, but we know how hard that girl works in practice, and just for her to get a varsity point, a bucket, big time, and so we're going to cheer for that. So the morale's good. We got a good energy. Like I said, we share the ball really well. I had a parent post a tweet that says the ball won't get stuck very much after looking at that. So we move, we make the extra pass, and we know it might be my night one night, next night is yours. That's the culture that we have. So.
And that's where it should be, I mean, I think when you do that, nobody can kill one young lady to try to shut down and take him out of the ball game. Like I said, Coach, you got, the seasons, like I said, you already opened up, but a lot of the seasons kind of tips off here the next week, man. So basketball is going to be in full effect. Folks, what we're going to try to do, man, we were trying to break down every class, that's kind of tough when you're trying to do 20-some teams and get it all broke down to young ladies and all that. So we're going to do our best to try to get every name that we can out there and coaches. And like I said, we're going to have a special coach on tonight. She's, I wouldn't say Midwood City's young ladies in the rebuilding because Coach Knight's done a good job since she's been there at Midwood City. And I know she lost a lot of good seniors in Douglas and Sierra, but she's reloaded and had some girls come in, so we'll get a chance to talk to her in a minute. But Coach, like I said, once again, you said you saw McLeod out there. That's a team that I think that everybody should kind of keep their eye on them because they got the twins and then they got a good post game too.
Yeah, one of the post kids, number 35. I don't have my names in front of me, but she's really strong, good hands, works hard, demands it. And then one of the twins went off today. I mean, she had like 5 threes in the game I saw. So she shot well, which I think is an improvement for them. Both of them shot, but one of them really went really good. Number 3, I think it was. And so they got everybody back from last year, I think. And they're young and they got some size. So they're a good team. I mean, they're gonna be tough for us. We got to play there for our conference, and I think anybody's got to play them. They be ready to go. I mean, she mixes it up. Coach does a good job of mixing them up.
That's big time.
Yep.
Anybody else stood out there that was there today in the super scrimmage?
Tuttle looked good. I mean, they got the Sandlin kid who's a nice, versatile player that plays on a circuit, and she did a good job for Tuttle. And then they got a little lefty, number 15. Like I said, I didn't have a roster in front of me, and that's all Mount. And Cash had a nice little guard, little lefty guard. It was nice. So, I think everybody, for some reason, everybody's young. I mean, you talk to everybody, there's like no seniors, I guess. I don't know where they're all at. But
are they starting a lot of seniors? I mean, starting a lot of freshmen?
Yeah,
sophomores?
Like sophomores and freshmen. I mean, a lot of freshmen and sophomores getting game. And we talk about like Tecumseh. Peyton Bays, who came up from Dell's, a freshman at Tecumseh, a really good point guard, shot well. And then they got other kids that are coming back that are varsity players, but he lost off starting 5. So, for him, there are players that played, but they just have not had the minutes yet at a varsity level. And you could tell. I mean, so there are teams that are early, I think that'll start out, a little slow, but will pick up once their kids get varsity minutes.
That's it. Well, Coach, let's take a quick break, and then bring Miss Knight on from Midwood City, their head coach, and we'll talk to her a little bit. Then we'll get back to talking Oklahoma High School girls basketball. We'll be right back after one of our sponsors. Oklahoma High School girls basketball. Be right back.
Above the Line Hoops, helping players achieve their goals through recruitment, exposure, and promotion.
Welcome back to Oklahoma High School girls basketball. Between the lines, I almost said it, but I did. I fixed it, Coach. Like I said, welcome back to Oklahoma High School girls basketball. Between the lines, I'm on here with head coach Miss Megan Knight. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Doing good.
We can't complain, man. It's always good to have a good coach on, man. Like I said, somebody that loves the game and spends probably more time at the gym than she probably at home. So you get what you need to do, coach, is to get you a mobile home and just travel with it, and then you ain't gonna worry about
Oh, I
paying a
know.
mortgage.
And we could just park it right there outside the field house, and I would be set because I don't get home until about 7 p.m. every night if I'm lucky.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. I saw Allison post something earlier. Had your son at the game today. It's always cool,
Yes.
man. He
Number
knows
one
more,
fan.
Yeah, he probably knows more about basketball than I can even think about, man. I mean, he knows how to box in 1 and 2, 3, and all that stuff.
Yeah, he'll yell at them saying, go, go, go the whole time.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, Coach, man, we're glad you could join me and Coach V, man. Like I said, I know season's right around the corner, but we wanted to have you on. We're sitting there debating who can we bring on, and I said there's no other than Miss Megan Knight. I've got to know you since you came to Midwest City, and you've done a great
Yes.
job. And I know the girls love you and the fans love you. You're just kind of like a fan favorite, man. You and Miss Katie Bass is probably our two, ladies that we just love to watch, and just the energy you guys bring to the game. So I just want to have you on, man. And right before Thanksgiving, kind of get the, when everybody sit down and eating their turkey, they get to listen to this show because we'll drop it Thursday morning. But, Coach, like I said, thanks for coming and joining me and Coach V this night, though. But before we get started, though, I know about you. Coach V knows a little bit about you. But tell the listeners that don't know about Miss Knight.
Well, I came to Midwest. This is my 5th year at Midwest City. Beforehand, I was able to coach at a small Christian college. It's called Randall University. I was the head coach there. And 4 years, I was an assistant under Hannah Muller. She's now at Mid-America Christian University. She's doing a great job. I just saw that she's got the coach of the week. So she's doing a great job in the SAC. But I got to do that for a few years. And then I went to Moore High School. Got the opportunity to get to coach Aaliyah Moore, who's now playing for Texas, Rachel Harjo, who's signed with UCF, and then like Ashanti Day and all of them. I mean, it was a blast. I swear if COVID didn't hit, we were going to win it. We were going to beat Norman. I don't care what Norman says. We were going to win. We beat Choctaw by 25, I think, in the area championship. After they beat us earlier that year, and I mean, we were feeling it. So, I got to do that. And then COVID year, Andy Collier calls me and he's like, hey, do you want to apply for this? And I'm like, am I getting pranked? Like Midwest City, because we played them in the regional championship that year at Moore. And so I was like, that group, like, are you sure? And so I took over. It was great. I was their 3rd coach in 3 years. Katie left, went to Mustang, and then we had Corky and then me. Yeah. So those seniors were kind of like, oh, great, here comes another one, And so it took a while for them to buy in. But then we went to state for the first time. That senior class got to go to state for the first time. We got to host for the first time since, they won it in 2016. And so it was just like a big excitement for them. They've never done it. And so unfortunately we pulled the short end stick and got Norman first round. But yeah, I mean,
that's big stuff though.
Now, did y'all get to play? Y'all didn't make it that game, did you? I mean, it got canceled right before. Is that right?
Yes. The COVID year, yeah. We were literally in shoot around. We were running laps. We already stayed the night before, had a great dinner. We were watching the Thunder game, doing all those things. We give Lenny Hatchett a hard time that it was his fault. But, we were there. Yeah, it was not. He had so many hate messages about that. I would have done the same thing if I was Lenny. But, it was just one of those flukes that I mean, those girls. And then the next year, unfortunately, Aaliyah Moore, her senior year, I think she tore her labrum in her hip. And it was just one thing after another. And they didn't even get to, their junior year was that year that it would have been special,
Yep.
Well, Coach, that's big time. Last year you finished up. I know I had to text you and ask you this, but I knew it was a good record. It was 23-4.
Yes.
You was kind of senior heavy. You had one of my favorites. I had a chance to have her on the show a couple of times on Keep It 100. Is Miss Douglas, and
yes.
I thought Deanna was, just a heck of a not basketball player, just an athlete. She played volleyball, do the shot put. I think she was a state champion in the shot put, wasn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually, and with the funny story about that is she went out with no technique. Poor Tia Moore. Like she just didn't want to be in the off season and running and doing things with me. And she was like, I'm gonna go shot put. They don't run. I'm just gonna go throw the thing. And then did awesome. Breaks
Yes.
the state record. Does all and I'm sure Tia at first was like, what are you giving me? Like
Now
this little teddy bear.
now she let you know, like when you go, hey coach, I'm gonna go to track. You're like, whatever. Just you never thrown before. You know,
Yeah, that I mean, she had zero. She threw the freaking disc like a frisbee. I'm like, babe, what is that? Like, no technique. She's spinning like a ballerina, throwing it, and it just goes. I'm like, what in the world? But she's awesome at it. Like, it was her thing. Like, she broke the state record. She was a great kid, great human. We miss her so much, but she's doing a great job at NSU now.
Yeah. Then you had another one. It was a Sierra.
Yes.
Yeah, I think she came from Enid, another young lady, and
Hmm.
I thought she played outstanding last year in the regionals. I mean, she had some big time moves in the Dell City game. Got a chance to watch her, but I remember when she first came, coach, and she used to train with Allison, with,
Yes.
with Zoe, and Coach V. If you just saw this girl when she first came, you'd have been like, "What? She's a high school player? Are you sure?" I mean, she was. I mean, you guys done a great job with her. I'm just telling you, if you the first saw her, I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not being mean because she had been a baller,
Yeah,
but
she would say it too. She
yeah,
just didn't, she never came from a winning program and she swore I hated her. That's what we're so, she's like one of my own kids now. She still calls me, FaceTimes me all the time about her college issues, but she swore that first year I hated her. And I'm like, no, I just hold you accountable, babe.
yeah,
shit,
But
I
her
understand that
senior year, she
feeling.
killed it.
yeah, she did. She was. I mean, she went from like boys to men overnight back again.
Yeah. And then we had to have her. I mean, she
Yeah,
did such a great job her senior year.
yeah,
It
she
was just
did. She
like, she
she
was so
balled out.
special.
She did. She balled
Yeah.
out. But coach, like I said, you lose those two top
Well, yeah.
players.
Didn't you have a third one wasn't in Hamilton playing at Western?
Yes,
So
yes,
you had a third
yes.
one.
So Aaliyah, she tore her ACL and AAU,
Mm-hmm.
between her junior and senior year, and she was our like second leading scorer and second leading rebounder her junior year, and then came back in January, and I mean, it's still, I think, haunts Coach Ritchie to this day that she hit those dagger threes in the area championship, and it had to be one of the Carl
They
Albert
call out
kids that did it to him.
Yeah.
That
Coach
kind of,
Richard might not listen to this
solidified
show.
that. I know, because I give him a hard time. I was like, yeah, does that Carl Albert shoot? Thank you for that. You can send another one my way. But he did it. She did a great job. It was a big game for her. So
She started as a freshman for Carl Albert, man, and played really well. Then she ended up getting hurt, but like I said,
yeah.
she's a good little ball player, man. I mean, you could ask
Hmm.
for another young lady to kind of fall in your lap, but
Yes.
like I said, you lost those young ladies, but you're coming back this year, and you had some new ladies move in,
Hmm.
and you got some new starters. So tell us a little bit about the team this year.
I mean, they're brand new. There's a lot of, fixing to do. Just like not playing together. No, the chemistry is a little off right now. It's gotten so much better from our first scrimmage against UConn. But they're doing a great job. They're buying in. Our defense is like crazy good. I got mad at them in the Jones game, and I look up and we're holding Jones with 6 points in a quarter, and I'm like, okay, maybe I should chill out. They're doing a pretty good job. But they're fast. We have seven. She broke her hand. She played a little bit for us last year, ended up breaking her hand going for a rebound in practice. So we won't have her for a few games this
Mm.
first semester, which was she's kind of our glue kid. She just works really hard, so we'll miss that. But we have Sadie Johnson coming out, being a big leader, big defender, shooting the ball well. Chloe Knox, she's shooting the ball well. She's stupid athletic. Layla Jones is a moving. You know, her dad was a
Yeah,
superstar
he
at
started.
Millwood.
Yeah, Millwood.
Yeah.
Joe's a good guy. He used to work for me, man. I mean, you talking about a guy that went and played, Division One, played at at SEC team Tennessee. So, and she plays on Dre's Crush team. So I got a chance to see her. You talking about a young lady that can rebound and goes
Hmm.
100 goes. I mean, that's a big pickup, coach. That's all I can say.
Yeah, she's a big help. She's not a true post. She's quick for her size. And so that's really, fun to see. There's some things we're kind of getting out of her and give her a hard time. This isn't Crooked Oak. But she laughs about it now. I think at first she was like, man, this girl's crazy.
He said
But
cricket.
We do give her a hard time, but she's doing a great job for us, finding in this system. I think that at first she was kind of like, y'all work really hard. What's going on? This is kind of tougher than I
This ain't
thought.
Cricket Oak.
Yeah, no
I
offense to the
love it.
Crooked Oak people,
No
but
offense.
we have to tell them like, hey, like this is a Midwest city standard over here. Like we hold you guys high,
Well,
you know.
if you don't do it, you sit down over
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, it's different here, and she's kind of bought in, she's sometimes it's like not as easy as other days, but she's doing a heck of a job for us too. So
Yeah.
big get for us.
So, Coach, I got to tell you, you're one of the top hot things out there, man. As far as anytime the gym is open and the lights are on and the basketball, no matter what grade it is, middle school, high school, it's college, you and Allison, you guys get on the road and travel and go see these girls. And I think like you talk about family. I was a Midwest City graduate. One of my favorite coaches to this day is Dennis Huggins, and I love him like a father figure. And I know a lot of these girls look at you like that. So, what is something what made you kind of get into that? Because I know a lot of coaches like, man, if she's doing it, I got to go out and do it too. Because, nowadays, no, I'm just being real, because
Yeah.
if you're not doing that, man, and, me and Andy kind of talked about this the other day, we're just, seeing you at the, because I said, man, Knight was at the, middle school game. And Andy's like, Tony, she was at the 6th grade game. She's like,
Yeah.
she don't get those girls for another 4 years, she's at the 6th grade game. But, and it's cool to see that though, because, Coach V's kind of that same way, he's, he posts this morning, man, he hits me up and, on our little chat deal, and he's like, what a way to spend my day off at the gym, and if you love
Right.
it and that's what you want to be. But I think it does a lot for those young ladies, because sometimes those young ladies might not have a mother figure or a father figure, and sometimes you give them that, and and there's nothing bad, because I didn't have a father growing up, and Huggins was kind of like a dad to me. So I give you kudos for that, because I know all the coaches can't do it. I know you and Bass and Coach V. I know you guys do a lot. You spend a lot of time in like I said, in the middle school gym and AAU gym. But what made you kind of start doing that?
Well, it's just kind of how I grew up. My dad was a coach. My uncle is in the Oklahoma girls basketball coach, like Hall of Fame, from Ada, and it just was, you were just grown up in it. Like it's just something like we do, and it's just second nature. Honestly, these girls are like my children. I spend more time, I have a 2-year-old at home, and I spend more time with these kids than I do with my own kid. And so it's just like they are my daughters. I say I don't need another daughter because I have freaking 19 of them. But just loving on them, letting them know it's more than basketball. Eventually basketball ends, and I know that. And sometimes they don't, and they stress themselves out, and just trying to, let them know that we're trying to teach you guys and hold you guys accountable for things outside like the court, and just, I don't know. I just love them. I'm going to go up to everything they have that I can. Sometimes it's not even basketball. Sometimes it's shot put. Sometimes it's track. Sometimes it's volleyball, even though I don't understand it sometimes. Like, I'm like, what? I'm catching on to the Tia. I'm like, you chant on a timeout? What is this?
Yeah.
But, just showing up, letting them know I'm there for them, because that's all they need. Because sometimes they might be terrible at that other sport, but they're excited to see me there.
Yes.
And they're proud to wear it or whatever it is. And so that's just something. And then my young ones, I want Midwest City kids. I know we get some move-ins, but I want the Midwest City kids. I want, them to be in our program and be proud to be a Bomber. And the ones moving in, I had 2 move-ins from Millwood, and the first day I posted a clip. We have it on our huddle camera, and they're running laps, like our pre-warm-up laps, and they're screaming like, yay, we're a Bomber. And just having that pride of being a lady Bomber, and just those things is what I like. It's just, wanting them to be a part of this family. We call it the Lady Bomber family, and not everyone gets that.
Are you finding alumni start coming back? It's kind of like sometimes, like you have a gap in between, because people graduate, they move away, but now they're kind of coming back. So now you got the program kind of rolling again and getting back with the pride. Are you getting the alumni to start, coming out and supporting you, and and telling you how good the program looks, and you're doing the right things, and they appreciate you?
Yeah, that's always a lot. And some of my kids now, they're moms.
Mhm.
were Lady Bombers at one point in time.
Right.
And so they like to come back and be like, "Yeah, you see this trophy right here? That was mine." You know, this
Mhm.
because I mean, I tell my kids all the time, this program was not built just because you y'all. Like it was a big deal way before you were even thought of. And so it's just, having that pride back. Like I said, that senior class that I had in 2021, they were so talented and they fought through injuries after injuries. And when I took over, two of the starters from the previous year in 2020 tore their ACL and AAU. And it was just like one of those things I'm like, oh gosh, what did I get myself into? I'm the third coach, and just seeing them just, buying in and making to the state tournament and doing those things that, they never got to do before was just really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced that when I was here, and I have kids now whose mamas are on the wall, and
Yeah.
so what I mean. So it makes a difference when that is the case because I'm like, they're like, oh, it's hot, and mama's like, girl, you don't know anything. I mean, what
Yeah.
are you talking about? We ran twice as much as that. What are you talking about? I mean,
Yeah, they don't think I'm like these moms are like, no, she's not that crazy. She could be way worse. I promise.
and
Like, I know she's a lot, but she could be way
And
worse.
what I like about it is they make me look good. They're like, "Oh, he's not as tough on you as my coach was." And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
pretty. I mean, they think I'm tough. And then Mama goes, "No, no, honey,
Yeah, we're the same way. They're like, oh, that wouldn't have happened back in my day. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh, yeah, my bad. I let that one slide. That'll be tougher next time.
Well, Coach Knight, I got to see you the other night, man, at the middle school
Hmm.
game, and Coach V, I kind of told him, man, I said it was crazy for a middle school game to see how packed it was between two
Oh,
two great middle school teams, and that just tells you what the Mid Dale and Coach kind of talked about it, a few weeks ago, about Middle City, Dale City, and Carl Albert, what they're bringing to middle school, and so tell the listeners what's that's kind of like going to a middle school game and seeing it like that with a good rival, but just the crowd. I mean, it was a great game, but just the atmosphere of a middle school game is like a high school game.
Oh yeah, it was like I'm from a small school, and so it definitely felt like a small school, 3A, 4A, like playoff game. Like like you couldn't hear a thing in there. I'm over here like, man, it is I can't even think right now. I'm much less who knows what these coaches are trying to say to these kids, and it was just back and forth the whole game. And it's just really exciting, because it for 2 years it's been like that. And this year, I mean, my kids show up. I had all my girls come and watch after the boys scrimmage, and they barely could find a seat. We had to like move some backpacks behind the bench to get them to sit down because there was nowhere to sit. And so it was just really exciting for them. It was a good experience for them, because both Carl Albert and Midwest City, hopefully the next 4 years, we're going to be competing for a state championship. So it's going to be loud. That environment is good for them,
No,
experience of it. So,
it's big time. Like I said, I enjoyed every bit of it. It was great sportsmanship. Somebody has to lose. The first time
hmm,
our girls have lost in 2 years, but it's good loss though. Sometimes you gotta.
yeah.
It's good to lose and start all over. I mean, it's not a reality check. I tell that all the time. The next day, mine's ready to get back in the gym and shoot. But I appreciate what you and Allison has done with Zoe because I know she's got a chance to work with you guys some too. So,
Hmm.
Allison's a great. I tell people all the time. Uh, I mean, I know you got to keep her close because I mean she's going to make somebody a great head coach one day too. So
Hmm.
let's talk about that. Did you add any new coaches to your staff this year, or you still got everybody coming back?
Yeah, we have a couple. We have Coach Rivers. He was an alumni. Went and played 4 years the collegiate level. He's coming back helping with freshman JV. He's young, and so it's really good to see him work with the kids. Because he's still got that energy that we need to get up and down with them. And then we still have Coach Mack. He actually helps. He's the head coach at Harding Boys prep down in Oklahoma City. And so he
right,
helps us too. He's our energizer bunny. I don't know how he does two different schools. And he makes it work.
okay,
But yeah, it's crazy that he does it. We support him. We went to his game the other night. Obviously, I was scouting too because they were playing
Classen,
Yeah.
yeah.
in classes in our district, so I got to do both. But go out and support him and watch him. And so he's doing a great job. And then Coach Guthrie, which is Bailey Guthrie's father, that is now a freshman
Yes,
at
Okay.
our
yes,
school.
Bailey's a good little player. But Coach, you talked
Hmm.
about your district. You got Altus, Classen, SAS, Dell City, Jar Marshall,
Hmm.
Lawton, Western Heights, and then Duncan. I don't know if it's changed from last year, but you got Dell City, a team that Coach White has put together and compete for a state championship along with everybody else in the 5A. Trying to get
Hmm.
El Reno, and I know everybody talk about Booker T, but you look at the teams that's in your district. Who's in that district that you kind of like, man, we gotta have our A game when we play them.
Obviously, Dell City. Since I've been here, they haven't got me yet. But I know they're coming. They're ready.
I love it.
Any
You see that shot she
opportunity.
threw in, folks? She had a faster shot than Mike Tyson did on Netflix.
Yeah, they haven't got me yet. I'm fingers crossed it doesn't start this year. They're
Bulletin
they're
board, bulletin
Bulletin
board.
board.
yeah, and they know it. They know it. Those girls have let me know because me and Coach, we have been good friends, and so sometimes I'm FaceTiming her about something, and then their girls get on like, "We're coming for you,"
I love it.
So and playing at Dell City is just so hard.
It's loud.
Like you have to,
It's loud.
yes, you have
Yeah,
to spot them 10 to 15 points. Like I do not care. Like it is 0 to 15 when you walk in for warm-ups there. It's just, yeah, it's unreal. The energy, like last year we beat them by like 3 points at third place and then won by like 25 at ours. Like
it's
the
crazy. Huh?
yes, like you have to just, I don't know what, in its rivalry, they just show up, show out, and they're going to be pumped. So that one's definitely a one. We open with Duncan, which is a scary one. They were in 4A last year, but they only lost, I think, 5 games.
Yeah.
And so that's a scary one. That I'm a little like, oh, thanks for letting us open up with them,
They got some
Uh-huh.
but
players or what, Coach?
I think they got one, if I remember right. They lost one, brought everybody back, though, if I remember
yes,
right.
he said, I heard they got the top 7
Yeah.
back and lost that one that played in the All-State game
Yeah.
in Tulsa.
Hmm.
But yeah, they should be good. They played with Choctaw, lost by like one in overtime in the Weatherford tournament right after break. And so they're coming. They've also had some girls, luckily for us, they've had girls that were competing in the volleyball state tournament and the softball state tournament. So he got his kids really late. So I should be, a few weeks ahead of them getting things in. So hopefully that plays in our favor, but there'll be a good one. And then obviously class and SAS. They did lose Skylar, which was a big hit for them, but
Right.
they're big, they're athletic. So that's another one that we're definitely gonna have to show up. They got a crush girl on there, so Paige
Paige.
is
Yeah,
definitely
Paige. Yeah.
Yeah.
she's definitely gonna want to show out against ours. So
Yeah,
I
Paige is
think it
pretty.
would just
She's
be
pretty
another good
special,
one.
man. She's coming off the injury,
Hmm.
but you get her going, man. She can make, she always has a smile on her face, so that's what makes her good. Because
Hmm.
you can piss her off, but she's gonna smile at you. So she's a good little player. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's and this is me and Coach V. I know we're both gonna try to get out and make a lot of games. Last year I went to a lot of Carl Albert, but now since I'm doing this show, I got to get out and go support all the teams though, because that's what
Hmm.
we're trying to do. We're trying to bring Oklahoma high school girls basketball to another level. I don't think
Yeah,
anybody
and I
does this,
appreciate that.
and you guys do. I mean, like I said, the coaches that get out. I got a couple more questions for you. It's just that I love what you do when you get out for these girls, because you're also building that relationship with their AAU coaches too, and that's one of the things I was going to
Hmm.
ask you. Like, are you involved in their recruiting, or do you kind of let everybody else take care of it? Or are you involved in it too, though?
I'm definitely involved. I send kids out. Like, obviously, I Texas, even some of my eighth graders that I think are going to be big time players for us. I've also already shooted out to some coaches that I think that they could play at that level. You never know. Just let them know, hey, keep your eye on them. But we're definitely involved we text them all the time, different coaches like, hey, I have this one. I have, a girl that I think kind of fits your program, just because we've got enough connections. Especially I played and coached at the collegiate level, so I know some of the colleges around here. Just building those connections that I
Yes,
got,
ma'am.
and
Yeah.
so and then Allison knows a bunch of colleges, and then also when we were coaching against or with Aaliyah Moore and Rachel Harjo, and we got to know a bunch of big time Division I coaches, which was really cool to make those connections because we still talk. We still send messages. Some of them will just text me, "Hey, who in Oklahoma is good? Who should I look at? I'm over here in West Virginia. Like, I need to know, like, who
Right.
should I come watch? What's some teams? What's a good tournament? Those kind of things. And so just keeping those connections, we definitely shoot them a text and let them know if we have any kids that we feel like, could
Oh yeah,
fit their
no,
program or
that's
not.
big time though. I mean, you're doing that, right now for the kids, and I mean, I think, I know coaches all can't do those kind of things, but I think it's very important that your coach is involved in your recruiting because, like I said, one thing you don't want to do is send a kid to a school and it turns out to be a bad apple, then they're not going to come back to
Hmm.
you. So you want to be involved and make sure they fit that program. Me and Coach V
Yeah.
kind of talked about this earlier. Make sure that girl, you look at their roster. You don't want to send a 5'3" guard and all the guards they got on their team are 6 foot. So
Yeah.
you want to send the kids to a school that's going to fit them and also make you look good. You like I said, you don't want to send someone
Yeah.
that's going to be bad and they're like, man, we can't trust Allison and Coach Snyder with
Yeah, well,
that.
and we
Yeah.
tell them like we're gonna be honest because I'm not gonna lie to a coach because I was recruiting at one point in time, and I hated when coaches just like I asked, hey, does she have a bad attitude? And like, no, she's great. And then we get her, and I'm like, man, her attitude is terrible. Like what are you talking? She has got the worst body language. Like y'all are full of crap.
Yep.
And as high school coaches, we see these kids every day. Like AAU, it's kind of fun. In high school, sometimes it's long. This is a long season,
Yeah.
and so sometimes they're high school girls, and they have off times and off days and off weeks, and those coaches, want to ask us, how are their day to day when they have a bad day? If they're stressed at school, what do they look like in practice?
Right.
Those are the things that they want to know. And so, I tell my kids all the time, hey, I'm going to be honest. Like, I'm not going to just rag you, but like, if you are lazy in practice, I'm going to be like, well, great player, terrible practice player, or lazy in practice, but she's a hooper when those lights come on, or whatever it is, like, 'cause those are things I've had to say.
Yeah, you gotta know that. I mean, it helps the next girl up. So, because if
Yeah,
you got a hard worker that can fit the system but not talented, you don't want to ruin that opportunity because someone was talented and just, I guess, lazy and didn't do anything.
yeah.
Because they're not gonna believe you that this girl works hard because the last one you sent did nothing and didn't make it past Christmas. I
Yeah,
mean,
and the fun thing about it is when you do get talent, those high major ones come in. What's really fun about it is, when we had Aaliyah Moore, she had 25 coaches at our gym.
yeah,
Like you had the Texas, the Baylor, all these people, the UCFs, and then they didn't get Aaliyah, but then they picked up Rachel out of it. They were
right.
able to watch us in practice and pick them up, and just kind of, they never know what they're going to find at our practices, and so. And it's happened here at Midwest City. We had a coach just come in looking for a post and ended up taking one of my cards. And
Yeah,
so it's just you never know. You never know.
right.
So
That's big time. So, Coach, like I said, we'll finish up. You've been in Mississippi for the last 5 years. I know the Moore job came
mhm.
open. Your name was thrown around like, my idea was like, she's gonna leave. She's gonna go back to Moore. But I know you built that
Yeah.
bomber tradition there. Is that something that did they come after you when that job did come open?
Yeah, I have the most respect for Brian Fitzgerald. I loved working underneath him. I loved more. I was there when that tragedy happened with the cross country
Oh
runners,
yes,
and then we
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
ended up at 2020. Like my heart is there at Moore. I just can't leave my kids. Like it's not these girls. Like I'm here for them. It's not even about the money, more pays a little bit better. It's not about money. It's just literally these kids. I'm so invested in them, and I felt like I was so heartbroken from last season. I know we had a great season. But I just, still my job wasn't finished yet, and so I just couldn't leave. As much as I, loved being that more, I just, my heart is at Midwest City right now, and so I'm gonna focus on them. And I did talk to them and everything more, and I appreciate my name being thrown in there. I know everybody at Coach's Clinic was like, "You're at Moore, right? Like, why you have the Bombers gear on?" I'm like, "No, I didn't take that." Like, like I didn't take it. But I just am not. I don't feel like my job's done, and I have a gold line at Midwest City. I feel like as long as everyone buys in and you keep the kids, I just feel like it's a special place. Our school is really up and coming. We have a new principal this year, and she is like
I heard she's a rock
amazing.
star, so I heard She's a rock star.
Yes, we're doing all these fun things, so supportive, and everything. And so I'm just really excited what our future holds. And so I had to turn them down this time. So, I
No,
still love my more Lions, but
Well, and you're in your 5th year, so when you get past a certain point, you've seen that kid that's been there at your camp when they were, I don't know, let's say
hmm
4th grader, and they get
yeah.
that shirt on, that camp shirt on, and maybe the players sign it or whatever you might do for the camp.
hmm
You're kind of like, what, I want to see that kid follow through.
yeah,
I mean,
Right.
I like,
Yeah.
and that kid knows you, and they come to the game, hi. They say hi, and you're like, I know you from camp, but then you really try to remember the name. I'm like, I got to know that kid's
Yeah.
name, so that because you want to say the name back, like, oh, coach, talk to me, Coach Knight. She said hi to me, And
Yeah.
it's special, and I think you have that at Midwest City because you're down there in that for a large school. You're down in that middle school, and so
hmm
you know all those kids. I mean, you
Yeah.
know them all, and they all know you, and I think that makes it hard when you talk about getting that connected like that. That
Yeah, it's the kids. Like I tell parents, I'm not here for you. I'm here for your kids. Like
yeah.
these kids are special and then we have a special group and yeah, getting down to the middle school is not easy. It's with big schools it's a lot harder to get down there and we have a lot of games on the same nights we do.
Hmm.
But we're gonna do a good job of inviting them out. Our 6th grade went undefeated this year. And so just, giving them some surprises at the games and trying to get them out and just getting a part of our program is the biggest thing. Just wanting them to look forward to, being in our locker room one day and hopefully winning, that state championship one day, making those memories because we do have a lot of fun. Like we do, like we're gonna do a Christmas and my family's gonna cook for them and they're gonna swap presents and we're gonna have fun and do those things. Those are the memories that we're trying to build at
Yeah, we did that
Midwest
folks,
last
y'all
year.
City.
listen to her. She's recruiting. She's doing a solid recruit.
We did that
I
last
know
year.
I know it sounds bad,
No,
but
no. It's just, hey, just keep it
just
real, Coach. I mean, this is the time and age, man, that you have to do these things, man. I mean, me and Coach V talk about this all the time, man. Kids are me, everybody want to put a superstar team together, and everybody want to win a state
hmm
championship. I mean, I know my kids are at Carl Albert. My boys were there at Carl Albert. I took them to Choctaw. I mean, the football
hmm
program wasn't good, but they ended up making it to the semifinals, and my son was a 2-time state champion. That's why I took him over
right.
there. So you got to do what's best for your kid, though. At the end of the day, you got to, like you said, you want to have a coach that one is invested in your kids. Like I said it before, and I'll say it again. It's like a 401k. You want to put money
hmm
into it. You're putting money into it, and somebody's gonna put money back into it. I mean, you just said the magic words. You're helping them kids get recruited. Nobody wants to go. I
hmm
mean, your AAU coach can do it and all that, but if you're out there making phone calls and telling people about this young person, not if they're in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, all the way to your high school, and you're doing that, man. I mean, that's big time, And I, like I said, I know every coach can't do it, so you can't put the pressure on every coach can do it. Lucky you got a husband and a son that's okay with you putting all the time in, but it goes a long way though. That's why these kids are
Yes.
invested in you and they love you, and not like I said, not just as a coach, but just as a mother figure. And when people listen to the show, they're going to hear that. That's something that you and Coach White, I mean, and Coach V and Coach Bass, you guys do a lot of that, and you see them at the games, and parents like that. They love to see you at the
hmm
game smiling. And I mean, I've seen you at AU games. I mean,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, I look around and she's sitting next to my wife at AU game. So, and like I
I
said,
know.
I mean, we was, I mean, it sucks for me because, I wanted my kid to be a Bomber, but she ended up being a Titan. But, the
Yeah.
one thing about it, I mean, I've been in your program. I know I've been around you. I mean, I know my kid went to state one year when you guys went when,
hmm
what's the little guard's name?
Blessed.
Yes.
hmm
Zoe loved her, She would pick Zoe up and take her up to practice, and Zoe went on the bus with you guys. So I know what you got invested in the girls, and I appreciate it because it does go a long way. Don't think, it's not seen, because it is seen and people talk about it, and it's good talk about, because I mean, you do love those girls, and like I said, I appreciate you, what you're doing for the Bombers, because I tell you right now, I was a Midwest City Bomber football player, and back in the 90s we were solid. And if you go to any of
hmm
your basketball games, girls and boys, it ain't just packed at the boys' games. The girls' games are packed too, and that says a lot
Yes.
right there. I mean, I've been to a game and I'm like, dang, where can you sit down at? And it's packed, and it ain't just Midwest City Dental
Yeah.
City game; it's all y'all's games. So that shows a lot for you and your coaching staff, man. You need to pat yourself on the back because you've been there 5 years, but before you leave, you gonna have your couple gold balls, and I'm I hope it ain't when my daughter's there, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, probably in like 2-3 years. That's when we're hoping it's really gonna happen. No, in the next 4 years
Yeah,
for
next
sure.
4 years.
No.
Yeah. Hope you guys play each other in the finals, man. I love it. I love to see it. I love to see it. But no, but like I said, I really appreciate what you do, man, and coming on the show, man. When me and Coach V was talking about who do we bring on, and I said, man, I tell you who's gonna be a big hit for it's gonna be Coach Knight. I mean, you do a good job
really
talking, and
appreciate
it's just what you're doing at your program, man. People want to follow that. When you do good things, people follow.
Well, I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys because like girls basketball here in Oklahoma is special. And I really appreciate you guys doing what you're doing. It's not easy and going out and supporting these kids and helping them. And it's just all about helping them get recruited as well. You guys are always on top of it on social media. And so I as a head coach, I really appreciate it and what you guys are doing.
You. We really do, man, because it's like coaches like you make our job easy. It does. It makes our job easy. And then I got a sidekick over here, Coach V. He's good, man. He really is, man. He's on top of it, man. He's taught me a lot, man. Even though I have a daughter that plays basketball, I don't know everything about it, but he's teaching me a lot of things, from recruiting to, just something he did the other day, and I really, really like, man. And and I'm gonna share it and keep sharing it. But he doesn't do like player of the game, but he did a stat deal. And he had all his girls and had their stats on there. And I just thought, to me, that's eye-catching. So it was just really cool, I've never seen that. And I thought it was just one of the coolest things ever is that, it's just all it is like you helping the kids get noticed and people find out who they are. Because, they're scrolling through Twitter, they stop and like, oh, my God. This girl, Sadie Johnson had 15 points. Oh, she also had 5 rebounds. Oh, she had 2 steals. I just thought Sadie was just a defensive player. Oh, she could score. Let me go check Sadie out now. You know what I'm saying? It's just different things that it's showing coaches that, hey, man, not just this girl can play defense, but she also can score, get you rebounds. And, one thing coaches taught me stat sheet. Sometimes parents are worried about scoring. It's about filling the stat sheet. If you can fill the stat sheet with everything, it's helping the team. You might score 25, but how many did you give up?
Right. I mean, it's just like Haley Van Lynch at TCU. She had like 41 points, but I'm like, did y'all not see how many assists and rebound? Like this young lady, I don't even care about the 41 points. Like, look at these assists. She was just killing it. Like, and everyone skips it. And that's what we try to preach is like, I don't need you to go drop some, I want you to have, 20 points or whatever. But if you're consistently bringing me, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, 10 points, I'd much rather have that, than one 20-point game. That's just kind of how we preach. Like Deonna Douglas, she was a walking double-double for 4 years.
Yeah, she was.
No need.
And so her just rebounding and some days I didn't even realize. I'm like, how the heck did you get 16 rebounds? I know some of it was her not finishing at the rim, but I'm like, golly.
You still gave her
like, I know, I give her, hey, stop patenting your rebounds. You already broke the record. Like, you broke the record. You're fine. Like, chill out.
I think she was like, hey, coach, if I get double-double in the laps today, and you're like, yeah. So she was like,
that's
grab,
what
miss, grab.
I'm going to miss this one on purpose. I swear she did just get my blood pressure up. But
well, Coach, man, we appreciate you coming on. Coach V, anything else?
No, I know we've met a couple times, but I enjoyed listening to how you run your program, and it sounds very top-notch. It sounds like you got it going, and what you're doing is going to have that thing rolling for probably at least 5-10 years, as long as you're there.
I appreciate it.
So keep investing in your kids, and definitely let me know if I can ever help you anyway.
Same here. If you ever need anything, let me know. I'm right down the road. So
that's it. I think we should just have a big Mid-Dale, whatever the little area is, tournament. This our own tournament here. Let's get busy.
Yeah. Listen, I'm trying to set up a tournament. I'm already putting that in my principal's ear. I'm like, hey, we need a tournament.
That's it. Make that money, man. So. I know that Mustang, Katie does a good job at her Mustang class.
Oh, yeah.
Man. I love it. Before I let you go, what other tournaments you going to this year, though? So
we're in the Norman one.
Oh, that's a good one.
The Norman one. It's tough. We get Norman North first draw, and if we're lucky enough to beat them, we will get PC North probably the next one. So we're going to see some great competition.
Y'all coming out back smoking, huh?
Yeah, we're coming. We're ready to go, which I like that.
That's what you want, man. You got to play the best to be the best.
Yes, that's how. I don't need a soft tournament. I don't care. Everyone's like, this is a rebuilding year. I'm like, no, we're built. Like we have We
Let's
haven't.
go.
We're not knocked down. We're here.
Yeah, we don't need to go to China Kuda Kuda Huda tournament. and
Yeah, exactly.
Through the teams are blind.
Yeah, I don't need that. Like I'm good. Like we're not gonna get any better.
No, it ain't gonna get any better. But Coach, happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, man. Good luck to your first game. Like I said, I'll be there supporting you no matter what. So, like I said, once a bummer, always a bummer. So good luck to you
I
this season,
appreciate
okay?
it. I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Have a good Thanksgiving.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, folks, that's Coach Knight, the head coach of Midwest City girls basketball team in their 5th year. Like she said, I could have left, but I'm going to keep my talents.
Yeah, she's got it going. You know how you kind of should do it. She has it going all the way up from middle school up, and that's kind of how you do it. I mean, that's kind of how you keep the kids rolling through it. So, like she says, they're not rebuilding; they're just reloading because the kids that she has are kids that have already been in the system. She's kind of been familiar with them for 5 years, had her hands on them, kind of, so they kind of know what her expectations are as far as level of play.
Well, Coach, I thought it was kind of interesting. She said, I got people looking at my 8th graders already. You know what I mean? I guess you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, right? You got to get down there. I mean, you got to get down there, and I want to say protect your kids, but you got to see them. I mean, they got to know you, and like she says, they got to know that you want them, and if you know them and you can relate to them, then they're ready to come up and be a bomber, ready to put that.
That's it. That's what you should be, though. I mean, if your kid is invested in the school and life's a school, you should be invested in.
Right.
I mean, nowadays, Coach, you have to do those things, man. And I'm not just saying everybody got to go do that, but I think a lot of coaches do that. I think you're doing it at Washington, you're doing it at Tuttle, they're doing it at McLeod. I think it's like, say, if you don't, these kids are going to leave. Look at the young lady that was at, and I don't know why she left, but she was at Bethel. She leaves Bethel and she goes to Shawnee, and I mean, maybe it's a good reason to play with her sister, her cousin. I don't know.
Yeah,
but,
there was.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you still left a program that you was at for 3 years and you go play at a different program, which there's nothing wrong with that because everybody's doing it. I mean, it happens in college football. One thing I got to say about X-Rob, they came to him the other night, the OU running back, the freshman out of Carl Auburn, and come to him and says, hey, do you want a red shirt? And he's like, no. I mean, that's what you want. He's invested in Oklahoma. He's not leaving Oklahoma.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and when you got a good coach, people's going to follow. I don't care what it is, man. You can't stop them. You can't handcuff them. If you have a good coach, people's going to follow you. And right now, she's probably like Jenny on the block. Everybody's going to follow her and listen to what she says because what she's doing out there. When you're a public figure, people wants to be part of that.
Well, that she's got success, and so everybody kind of wants to tap into it. Now, you ask her what she does, and like she says, she obviously has a supportive family that says, hey, you need to be at the gym and get home at 7 o'clock, and not everybody wants to do that. So, and it's not that it's just
and I'm
a
not
different
saying
priority.
You should.
Yeah, it's a different priority, but I mean, you try to figure out what success is, and she has another good year after losing some seniors and reloads, and reloads her team, and they compete like that, then you're going to find out, you want to know. You want to write notes down. I mean, you should write, what she's doing for these young coaches that are coming in. Yep. I mean, you're at a big school, but you still got to spend that time burning that midnight oil, as I would say, going to a 5th and 6th grade game. And even though you're worried about your team, you're worried about your next game, you've got to carve that in because it is important. And she does a good job doing that.
Like even you'll go down to the 8th grade practice and watch them and put time in them. You text me the other day, you're sitting at the Millwood game.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find me at a Little League game. I'm just saying. I'll be up there watching my 2nd graders play now. I'm old, so I can't remember all them names, but I can remember. I mean, I see them and they're like, oh, because those are the kids that are going to come watch us play now.
Yes, sir.
And so if you can relate to them now, and they see you success, they see you win, then the expectations are already there. They already know it. Yes, I mean, it's not like, oh gosh, I gotta go play for him. I'm hard, I'm tough. Yeah. But you get a feeling of that, and I think if you see that, then you're gonna see hopefully some success, and you're like, that's just part of it. That's what it is. I mean, that's what part of the program.
What I really liked about it too?
What's that?
She ain't backing down. Dale City, she said, you ain't beat me yet.
Oh no, she calling them out. I guess I don't know.
Put it on the bulletin board. Slap.
Yeah.
Anything else, Coach? You got anything for me?
Huh? I was going to ask you. We're during the holiday season. Yes, question is, and coaches are practicing. I think we're in a no-win situation sometimes. I'm like, oh, Coach, you practicing during the
Coach,
holidays?
we're not practicing. I want to practice.
We taking off Tuesday, Wednesday. I haven't done it, but I only have one game coming back. I've got a whole week of December.
Yes, sir.
First week of December to come back. So this is one of the first times I took off on Tuesday and Wednesday. But because I have one game on Tuesday coming back, we're coming in on Friday night.
Yes, sir.
And then we're going to go Saturday scrimmage. We're going to get 3 scrimmages there, 3 games or whatever. And then we're probably going to come in on Sunday and get ready for Tuesday because we took off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half of Friday. But sometimes I saw a post, someone posted on Facebook, like, oh, we taking off the whole week for one dinner. But, I had kids leaving, like, they're going out of town, like, Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning, they're gone, and I may not see them again for a whole week. So, it's kind of, do you hold those kids out, So for a coach, for us, it's kind of hard sometimes, like, how much do we practice during break, and how do parents view it? Like, is it too much? Like, there should be some family, or, is it too much basketball?
I think you set it off because, like some of the schools wasn't out. Like Middale was out all week.
Right.
Harold out all week, right?
Yeah, we were out all week.
So, some schools didn't get out all week. So, I think you play about a year, I think you give them, you might go Monday, Tuesday, regular time. Then Wednesday, go half a time, take Thursday off, and then open the gym up and say, hey, we can shoot Saturday and Sunday if you want to come in. Then get back to full thread on Monday, unless you have a game. Now, if you got a game that Monday or Tuesday, like some teams will, you might come in and say, hey, we're going to go full thread Sunday from, 6 to, from 4:30 to 6:30, then still get them home and still have a little bit of afternoon eat dinner with their family. But, you got family in, but guess what? Family might want to come watch practice. Open practice up. And just say, hey, everybody sit up in the stands and watch practice. Grandma might come in from Chicago, and she never got to see you practice. So that's when you kind of make it a family affair. We go watch all that. But me as a coach, practice.
Okay.
I'm all about practice. This week we've been off. Guess what? My daughter made her own schedule. She's been in the gym. So you got to do what's best for you and your team. If you're here, even though this is your second year, and you could tell you've already done better things from your last year. You're trying to win a gold ball.
Right.
You're not here to say, hey, I'm here to coach 5A basketball or 4A basketball. No, you're here to win, so you got to practice. If the parents don't want to be there, maybe they're on the wrong team.
Well, like I said, for a coach, sometimes we try to do it with family. And like I said, I saw that and it was like all week off for just one Thursday. But, I got people going out of town. So, and what really kind of is I give you the practice plan like in August. In August, we're going to be off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and half of Friday. And then Saturday morning, we're going to scrimmage.
You got to even it out. When family comes in, like I said, you might go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, cut it short for everybody get ready for, family. Most families coming in. Like, so I know my kids came in the nights, Tuesday night, get ready for Wednesday and Thursday.
Right.
But Wednesday, you cut it short. Thursday, hey, no basketball. Friday is up to you. I can open the gym up. Some of y'all want to come get some shots up. Wednesday, Saturday, same thing. Sunday, let's get back to it.
Right, so that's kind of question I have, as far as a parent, because it goes both ways. It's kind of if you got a basketball parent, you're like, oh man, we in the gym, coach, we in the gym, And I'm like, well, I posted it, and like 5 people came up to me and go, hey coach, we out of town, we ain't gonna be here, I'm like, you gonna be gone all week? Yeah, So
open it up to the ones that can go, then kind of go from there.
So that was my second question is on recruiting. What is Is there something that just kind of like throws you off, confused, or
good question because like I said, talking to her, it's funny because me and you kind of talked about this earlier. It's like, when did they start recruiting? Is it 7th grade? I know some girls in 2029. I know my buddy's daughter, Will Davis, Jada Davis, has got an offer to Wichita State. You wonder how they're gonna stick because that coach might be gone before you even get there. So, I've went through the recruiting deal. I tell you right now, recruiting makes you go gray, pull your hair out because you sit around and especially when your kids get close and you start getting these rankings and you kind of know where. Baxter, calm down. It's my dog. He barking because he wants to get in here and get on the show too. But I think that recruiting is crazy. It can make you go crazy, Coach.
Yes.
When my boys are getting recruited for football, man, I'm telling you, my head was spinning around and couldn't sleep, and I'm wondering who's going to offer them, who's not going to offer them, how much money they're going to get, what school they're going to go to. My kid is better than that kid. Why that kid getting offered, my kid's not. So you got to just kind of play it out, man, and I tell you one thing, but being with Coach V, he's kind of educated me a lot. So, I love what Coach Knight said. Yes, I got an 8th grader, but let me tell you something. I'm going to keep it. Show ain't keep it 100, but it's Oklahoma high school girls between the lines. One thing I got to say, Coach, and my son, we talked about this the other day, Deshaun. Sometimes a kid, right, could be a superstar in middle school.
Right.
And you've seen this a lot. But he didn't get in that high school. The game ain't really enhanced to where you think it's going to be.
Well, I see it all the time. Like, say you're like an AAU, you're a pressing team early.
Yes, sir.
And you're dogging. I mean, you're just blowing everybody out press-wise. And then as you get older, that press, people understand how to beat it. And you ain't taught the rotations.
Yes,
you ain't
sir.
taught it. You just had better athletes at the time. You're a better athlete, and we talk about it like in the NBA and things like that for a while. The older men ain't as athletic, but they can play smarter, and they knew how to play. And you got a young guy that can win. He can dunk left and right, but yet they're going out signing that 15-year veteran because he understands how to show up, he understands how to work out, watch film, and do that. So so the older person sometimes has an advantage of doing that. And I think as you prepare yourself as an 8th grader, you should be preparing yourself for a high school.
That's it.
It works great in the 8th grade. I'm gonna take my dub, but then I'm gonna go back and watch my films. And man, I know that I just went and watched. If I'm somebody, I went and watched this Midwest City play. Like she says, they come over and like, what's the standard? That ain't gonna work. Yeah. If I want to play for Coach United, Midwest City, I better have. If I can't defend, I'm probably not gonna play. It sounds like for her.
Yeah.
So we may be 15-0, but I can't guard nobody.
That's it.
So, and the same thing in high school. I tell my kids all the time, that ain't going to work. And they're like, oh, what do you mean, Coach? I just scored. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you scored today, but 4 years from now.
You're going to score against a girl that's 18, 19 years old. You're 14 or 15.
Or you go to college. Yeah. And they're like, Coach, I made it. I'm like, yeah, in college I'd be in the 5th row up.
That's it.
Be a souvenir for somebody,
I tell mine all the time, you're not playing for 8th grade. We're playing to get better for high school.
Yeah, and in high school, high school's a funny thing because you want to enjoy your 4 years there, but you still got to go on a purpose if that's your true goal. And so you want to be obsessed with trying to do everything you can, but still have a 4 years of high school because, you only get it 4 years. That's it. Yeah. And so you want to have that high school life, but you also got to balance that goal of where you want to be after high school, and that's playing, at a collegiate level somewhere. So that's a tough balance, I think, for a for a young lady. And I think, should that decision be left up to the player or the parent? How much? I mean, I give you an example. Myself and my wife, we had athletes, and there was some point in time where we're spending the money to travel, but are you all in? Are you getting to the gym, or what are you doing?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
And
that's something that we tell all of mine. I've been fortunate that mostly all my 4 kids went off and played college. Zoe's my last one. My son, when he was getting recruited for wrestling go D1, and Dad was, oh man, he got to go D1. He got to go D1, and folks, parents, you got to let your kid do it.
Right.
You got to let him make that decision because he's the one that's going to school, going to class, and putting in the hard work and running them stairs and lifting all that. It can't be you, but you can't do it because you're living through your baby. It has to be what he wants to do or she wants to do. And I learned that the hard way. And my son, he finally told me that when he signed with UCO. And OU wanted him, Little Rock threw the red carpet at him. When we're driving home and my wife calls me because what's he going to do? I said, I don't think he wants to go here. And I said, man, they threw everything at him. But, he wanted to go to UCO. Then when he finally became an All-American and he won it, He said, did I make the right decision? Son, you made the hell of a decision because it's you. And so parents, you got to, like you said, you can't be, if Kimberly and Julie ain't involved, she don't really want to play, and we driving up to Houston and Kentucky and Philly and Chicago, and she just bought in halfway, you might look them in the eyes like this, Coach, and say, are you in or you out? Because sometimes don't play because mom and daddy want you to play. Play because you want to play. Go to the gym because you want to be in the gym. Not because daddy said, man, you need to get some shots up. Not because mama or grandma. Go because you want to be in there. Yeah. If you want to be in there, I do everything I can. My daughter asked me today, she's like, well, why does Zoe got 3 different trainers? Well, everybody do different things. It was no difference when you had 3 different cheerleading coaches.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's that if she's in, I'm going to do everything I can. If I got to cut this arm off to pay for it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what parents should do. But don't do it because Mom and dad want you to do it. Play because you want to be there. Because that's a lot of money that you're putting on your parents if you don't want to be there.
It is, and like I said, so I kind of wonder, that was kind of my 3 questions I kind of had for you, so, was the practice, and then should a player, who should decide that final decision? I hear sometimes like, in high school, let's say someone comes in, they want to quit. They say, hey, Dad, I think I'm going to quit. Why? It's just not fun. Maybe do you make that decision? Do you say, I understand now?
You got to let them make the decision.
I understand that, but when you walk away, you may not be able to walk back.
Coach, if they don't want to do it, don't make them do it though.
So
because if your heart's not into it, you're not gonna give me 100%. You're only gonna give me 75.
Well, I always say if you can walk away from it one time, then coming back to it's probably not.
And then you also make hey, let's sleep on it for a week. Let's take a week off and
Right.
make sure there's something that you want to do because you don't, like I said, you don't want to invest a lot of something into it. And you see it all the time. I tell you, I've seen it. I'm a 52-year-old man. I've had 4 kids that went off in college. Two of my girls just cheered. The rest of my other son played football. So I've seen it. So
Right.
you got to want them want it. You can't want it for them. They got to want it. If they want it. Then you buy in and do everything it takes to make them be successful. But it has to be the kids though, man. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're doing it for mom and dad, not for yourself, it ain't gonna you're never gonna have fun with it. And the thing is, if your kid don't want it no more, I told this man because my kids are laughing at my daughter was laughing at me because they're about to have a little boy, and my son-in-law 6'7".
Yeah.
I mean, and my daughter was fast. So like, maybe we'll have a good. I said, you know what? If your son wants to, if Malachi wants to be a dancer, let him be a dancer. And they're like, Dad, who are you? But it's the truth though. If Zoe said, Dad, I'm going to quit, Coach said it earlier. There's more than basketball. You can get hurt. No one knows.
Right.
No one knows what's going to happen in your future. You can blow your knee out. You can blow your ankle out. You never know. So any given day, you just be proud that you can get on the court and play. But you never know what's going to happen, and that's one thing that and I'll tell you, folks. Coach V educates me a lot because sometimes I'm a stubborn head guy, and he's like, Tony, you got to let everything play out. Everything's going to play out to his finest. It really will, man.
I'm trying to help him. He's going to be one of those dads in the stands. He's going to be educated.
Educated. I'm not even like, why Tony ain't talking? Because Coach V's educated me. Because you know what? It's funny, man, because I'm telling you, the more and more you do this and you listen to, the rankings and who's the best of the best, how do you know anybody's good? Anybody can have a good night.
Well, it's a lesson. It's a lesson where if someone shows up and they watch you play and they like what you have, and that's fine. They like it. I mean, I see it all the time, even in recruiting. Why did they sign Tony? What Tony did something they liked at the time they saw him. Now, the time I saw him, he didn't do anything. Yep. Or I played against him and he didn't do anything.
And we might not. And that kid could have had the flu that night.
But I don't know what that person sees and what their criteria are in their program, and that person may be a fit for that program that I don't see. I mean, and so, at the end of the day, it's about getting that scholarship. I mean,
and I tell everybody this is true. We'll end it on this. Every parent has this. their kids' goggles. My kid's the best. Every parent has it. I don't care who you are. When you listen to this show, you be like, man, he's right. Because everybody thinks their baby's the best. But you should. That's your baby.
Yeah.
But I also realize there's always somebody better than your kid, too, though. So take that with a grain of salt and move on from it. Coach?
Well,
anything else?
Time to get some turkey and food.
Gobble, 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 gobble. Folks, I'm going to eat good. Mama coming with her homemade mac and cheese. Fried 2 turkeys. Got 2 hams. Boy, I can taste it now. I'm not going to eat tomorrow because I'm going to be on an empty stomach so I can eat all day Thursday. And my Cowboys won. And my Sooners won. Boy, it's a good day.
Yeah, you had a good week.
I had a good week.
You were due, though. You were due.
I was due.
I mean, what was it? Combined like a 0 and
a 1. And the thing is, we should just schedule all the Dallas Cowboys games away because they ain't won at home.
Cowboys don't want to win anymore.
They don't, man.
The Cowboys are fighting for number 1 and ain't for the championship either.
No. They're fighting to get Dion and his son. Package deal.
Yep.
Well, folks, man, like I said, we'll drop this show this Thursday while you're sitting there eating your turkey, in your dressing, in your ham, in your deviled eggs. You can sit back. It's a long show, but hey, before the game come on, you can check out Oklahoma High School Girls Between the Line with myself, Tony Johnson, and Coach V. We thank you. We ask you to subscribe. We did hit 101. Now we're shooting for 200. I told Coach V we got to get this before Christmas. So reach out and touch somebody. I will be at a couple games, and I'm going to make you subscribe and click. In a nice way, though. Anything else, Coach?
No, that's it.
Hey, we'll see you next week on Oklahoma High School Girls Between the Lines. See ya.